Welcome to afterWord, a podcast with extended conversations about topics that matter in life and in ministry. And today we have a special guest. I'm joined by Brent Moutier, who's our director. Well, actually, I'm going to let you tell us about yourself, Brent, because I want to make sure that people understand more about who you are and what God's done in your life and also your ministry. So you are the director of operations, but I'll let you tell more about yourself on that. So there are a lot of our folks, Brent, would know you. You've been at the church for a while and they know your family and that's really sweet. But I'm also thinking that there probably are some folks that wouldn't know you, or at least maybe might not know you as well. And so that's the case with any staff person that we want to bring forward. So would you mind, Brent, just taking some time to introduce yourself to us? Like, okay, so you grew up where? How'd you get saved? A brief word about that, how you met your wife, and then even kind of how that rolled into ministry. And if you forget any of that, I can always revisit it with you, but just to help folks get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, so I grew up in Los Angeles, Southern California area, lived down there for actually been up here now more of my life than down there. But yeah, grew up down there and my family was always involved in the church to some extent. So to me, the gospel, I don't have any crazy conversion story. The gospel always made sense to me. Never questioned it. And I'm thankful to the Lord for that. Just, here it is. And yes, Lord, I understand. I accept it. But growing up, my dad was an alcoholic that really drove his life. He was addicted to that. And I'm also thankful to the Lord too, because I could see how that could have happened in my life and in my kids' lives. But by his grace, he saved me from that. And I think being involved in church growing up was a big factor in that. So even when I was really young, like 10, 11 years old, I was involved in serving in church. Our church did a lot of production-based type things. And I think the Lord used those to keep me involved in things. In fact, as I got older, I would actually ditch high school to serve at church, which I don't recommend.
Kids, we don't recommend that at home.
No, I'm not saying that is a good idea. But I wouldn't ditch school to do bad things. I ditched school to be at church, and that's where I wanted to be. So I grew up there. When I was in junior high, I was serving backstage for a production, and this cute girl appears backstage in like some prophet costume. And she was coughing backstage, trying to clear her throat. And I'm like, no, you can't do that back here. Of course, I was flirting with her.
Yeah.
And then she goes up on stage and makes like a mess of what she was doing because her voice was a mess. Well, that girl was Casey. So I met Casey when I was 11. And then in junior high, so we knew each other going through all, children's ministries, junior high ministries. In junior high, we started dating as much as you can in junior high.
I was going to say,
So it didn't really exist. And then we broke up in junior high, something that didn't really exist anyway. But we broke up but still knew each other going through all the years of high school. And when I was a senior in high school and she was a junior, then we kind of reconnected and started dating again. And then the rest is history. We got married in 1998 in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Our oldest, Riley, was born in LA. And then I was actually working on several films in LA, big movies in California, Florida, New York, Toronto, Vancouver, all that, doing all that stuff. And then NorthCreek called and said, hey, we're looking for a tech director. And at the time, NorthCreek was a lot smaller. None of those buildings are still here on our campus. And they had never had anything like a tech director. So I came up here and interviewed for the position, and I was accepted the position. So actually, when I ended one of the movies in Vancouver, flew back here, and then Concord, Walnut Creek became our home. So it was that quick. And then over the years, so then Bailey was born. And then Sydney was born a couple years later. And then over the years, my role has gone from the technical director to technical director with some other little aspects of it to director of operations, and it's expanded and contracted over the years and various things. But I'm so thankful, and I'm thankful that we get to raise our kids here. Riley, our oldest, is now a commercial pilot. Which is doing what he loves, which is just amazing.
Yes.
Bailey, our middle one, teaches here at the academy, which I just love to see her investing in the kids. And she was a student here, which is great. And then Sydney, our youngest, is at college at CBU and then is also working here or at Berean for all their graphic design and marketing. So Yeah, so that's our life and what I do here at NorthCreek now, a variety of things.
Can I ask you, Brent, as I'm just listening, I always learn new things about the guys. And one of the things I'm thinking here is, I don't think, first of all, I realized that Riley was born in LA. So that's new. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Second thing is, you mentioned in passing really quickly, but it's I want to mention it. It might be embarrassing to you, but you mentioned that none of the buildings that we have here were here when you came.
Yeah.
Okay. So none of these buildings are here without you being here. So you have had a massive role in all of that. So the campus that we enjoy and probably take to some degree for granted because it's here. None of it was here when you were here, coming here. All of it's here now. What was your involvement in each of these things? I mean, 3 major buildings, right? But like, how have you been involved in those things in terms of they're all here now?
Yeah. Well, in various ways. So our CMC building, Children's Ministry Center, was built in 98. So that was built before I came to NorthCreek, and a little parsonage was torn down for that to happen. When I came here, there was a big gym on our campus, which is even pretty old. It was built in 69. Mm-hmm. Then there was 4 other buildings because they were tied together that were built in the 50s and 60s. So we tore down the gym in about 2006, I think it was.
Yes, yeah.
And I was really, I'm thankful I was able to be a part of a team with Tim Lockismo and Gary Pollard. Yeah. Kind of a leadership
John in
team.
that too.
Yes,
yeah, for sure. Leading the charge.
And to build what's now the worship center.
Yeah.
So super thankful to be involved with those guys specifically on building that, and just being a small voice. And then,
well, you're saying small. Well, okay, you can say that. That's fine. But you were heavily engaged in that. So thank you for being modest. But go ahead.
Well, and then we decided to build the FMC, which was always a part of the process. John McNeff said when we build the worship center, we need to bring back a gym. We need to bring back a space for children, for students, the youth ministries, things like that. So the FMC was kind of the third phase of that.
Yes.
I'm very grateful that I was able to be the owner's rep for that building.
Yes.
And just play a part in helping that building come together.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, and then this gets to a little bit more about your role now. I just remember, Brent, you and I were walking around campus. I forget where, but just being struck with like, man, this is going to be so much work. And so your position that you have now, I mean, everything that we enjoy here is going to be as a result of you keeping it rolling. I mean, genuinely so. And that now incorporates across the street too. So your fingers are kind of all over the place in that way. How do you kind of look at that? I've appreciated how you've explained that ministry. And maybe if you forget, I'll help you, because that conversation to me, I've remembered as being like, yep, that's the reason why it's important to focus on the operation of the campus. Do you remember, like, in your mind how you frame that? Or maybe I don't remember. Okay. What you said was, this stuff is not the ministry. The people are the ministry, but this helps all the ministry happen with the people.
Right.
You've always said that. I mean, I don't know if you want to explain that or if that, any expand on that at all. But I was impacted by that because I think I'm a little bit more inclined to think, well, it's just the people, the church of the people. And that's true. But I've appreciated your perspective on, yes, amen. Biblically, that's true. And all this helps that go.
Right.
I don't know if you want to expand on that or comment on that, but that was impactful to me.
Yeah, well, my role now currently is operations, which includes kind of the technical and the production side of what we do, so the media stuff. Mm-hmm. And then it's also campus safety, campus operations. I work a lot with the academy. So anything campus related, and like you said, now that includes Lennon Lane across the street. Mm-hmm. But my view has always been like, the Lord doesn't need our campus. It doesn't need our buildings. He doesn't need any of that.
Yep.
But we have been entrusted with tremendous resources that we are able to use. So my desire always is to have everything here work like it's supposed to work with limited distractions. Because if something doesn't work, something's ugly, something's broken, it's going to distract our people from what the Lord wants to do with them on our campus.
Yep.
And so grateful we have an amazing team of staff that work really hard, not to make our campus something it doesn't need to be, not to use the resources that the Lord has given us frivolously, but just get us to where we need and be able to do things not only for our people, but even for our staff, that they can walk into a room, turn things on, it's set up like it needs to be set up.
Yep.
Technology works.
Yep.
Lord willing. But that's always been my desire. It's definitely not about the campus. I mean, all this just will go away eventually, right? But the word of God is what will last. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Lord willing, at some point, people are bashing down these buildings and building other ones, right?
I hope so.
Just like we've done.
Yeah.
But I like that though. I guess if I'm hearing you, it's almost like as I'm listening to you, I'm wondering like, your title is Director of Operations, but if you wanted to think about that and frame that biblically and theologically, it's like Director of Stewardship. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like that is your ministry to like be very thoughtful about like, Lord, you've entrusted this to us. We have to steward it, manage it. And I've always appreciated your desire. It comes to you very naturally, and it's such a blessing to so many people. I think a lot of our people are thankful, but even some people who don't think about it, they're blessed by it. That's just, it's sweet. So yeah, I appreciate your ministry in that way.
Yeah,
thank you for that. Okay, but I also wanted to ask you about another part of your ministry that has been a part of your ministry now for well over a decade, and that's with regard to the story. And it's a significant one because it is a bit of it connects to some of what we discussed, and yet it stands apart from it a bit too. So tell us a little bit about the story. Like where did it come from? I mean, it didn't just, by God's grace, it kind of reaches back into where you came from.
Yeah.
And so that's a blessing too. But tell us a little more about the story, that ministry and where it came from. We can start there.
Yeah. So the story is we're on our 13th year coming up here in March. And the story is we actually started it at Christmas. Now we do it at Easter. And what we do with the story is we take biblical works of art and recreate them. So all of everything that the audience would see is created by volunteers here in the church. And then we take that artwork, we match it to music, and then agonize over the narration and the script to make it biblically accurate. And we present it. But you're right, it goes way back. The word is tableau vivant, which is living picture. And that goes back way to the medieval times. And then in the 1800s, then some of the elite and the educated started doing tableau vivant like in their houses, like for entertainment and for parties. And then that expanded into theaters. And so it's getting more and more attention. And then if you really want to see where ours came from, it goes back to what's called Pageant of the Masters in Laguna Beach. And in like 1933, I think it is, they started their event, Pageant of the Masters, which is part of the art festival down there. And they now they do like 40-something pieces of art every year. But it's not biblically based. It's all beautiful. It's wonderful. The music is outstanding, but it's not biblically based. And then my former church in Southern California kind of took that and ran with it about 35 years ago and started doing it completely biblically based. And then in 2012, John McNeff said, hey, do you think we could do what they do down there? And I was like, absolutely, we can. Yeah. So we went and visited them, and they told us two things. They said, number one, you shouldn't do this. It's too difficult. Don't do it. If you're not going to listen to us, number two, definitely don't do it this year. Because now we're in March and April of 2012. And by God's grace, we did it in Christmas of 2012. So not that many months later. And that was the first year. Yeah. So now we're on our 13th year.
Holy smokes. That's pretty cool. I don't think I realized the pageant went back to 33.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. Yeah. So that's sweet. So there is the church here, the history there coming like from you and John, but I know that that's the background, but there's a specific reason why we would do the story or reasons why we would do the story. So that have to be more than just historical, right? They have to be theological, biblical. And so, so why would you say to someone who's wondering about the story, why do we do this story here? Why is it a ministry here year over year?
Well, first and foremost, the story is produced and presented as a gospel opportunity. It's an outreach opportunity.
Yep.
It's a very unique way to share the gospel. And we all know that music and art, the Lord puts something that just stirs us. There's something about music. There's something about art that the Lord put in us. I mean, he's a creative God, and I think he just gave that to us. Music can drive emotion. Art can drive emotion.
Yep.
So we do it as an outreach opportunity. Now, the Lord doesn't need music, narration, right? Beautiful artwork and lighting. for people to be changed, right?
Yep.
But it is a very unique and creative way to do it. And so first and foremost, it's a gospel opportunity.
Yep.
And if we ever depart from that, we should stop doing the story.
Yeah.
We
have said that from the very beginning.
Yes.
If this wanders away from the gospel, we're killing it. Yeah.
Right.
Remember that? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why we're always encouraging our people and others to invite unbelievers.
Yeah.
Get them here. That's why we do it.
Yep.
Now, at the same time, there is tremendous opportunity for believers
Yep.
to see and be convicted, encouraged, challenged, all of that. I mean, I spent a lot of time on the story, and every year the Lord uses a piece of art, a piece of music, something in the narration to do all those things, encourage me, challenge me, convict me.
Yeah.
So it's also for believers.
Yep.
And so we encourage our people to attend as well.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of positive aspects of the story that go below the reason that we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everybody involved in the story is a volunteer. So we're Pageant of the Masters. Most of their people, except for their cast, are paid staff. So I'm really thankful. It also gives our people, a lot of times churches don't give an opportunity for people with certain talents to serve. So musicians, not a lot of opportunities for musicians to serve, especially in orchestra settings. Artists, people involved in costumes, maybe even construction, fabrication, all of those things. So the story gives an opportunity for our people to serve in very unique ways, which is just wonderful. Another aspect of the story that I love is it allows people to serve together that are multi-generational. So we have people as young as 8, 9, 10 years old, all the way to high 70s, serving together in the same room, doing the same thing. And I just love to see people fellowshipping backstage, which is a side that the audience doesn't see. But it's just tremendous to see the Lord using their efforts to glorify himself through their fellowship and interaction and all of that. So.
Yeah, totally. Well, and even, I mean, I know that shifting from, well, correct me if I'm wrong, actually, Brent, we originally were at Christmas, and part of that was because we needed to, getting out of the gate, we needed to borrow some of the art from down south, and they were using it at Easter, right? Because they did theirs Easter, and so we flipped to Christmas. But I love that even where it lands now, it just, all of it is so focused on, just putting the spotlight, I mean, literally the spotlight, but the spotlight biblically on the gospel of Jesus Christ, the death and the resurrection of Christ is the lion's share of the whole presentation. So I want to say like at least 50% is just from the Last Supper on in Jesus's life.
Right.
So it's so good that way to just put the spotlight on the most important and the best news in the universe, you know? So I love that about the story. And I agree with you too about the generations and the families and all the different ways that people can serve. And it just builds, I think, a lot of momentum heading into, well, now Easter,
right?
The kind of the high point of the Christian calendar. So, but that kind of leaks into a little bit of that other question I want to ask you is like, just as you think about the story, and then I do want to ask you about how people can get engaged themselves. But what are some of your favorite aspects of the story? Just in you're the one that has been providing leadership to it for so many years. So what are some of the things that you think, like, these are my favorite aspects of the story as you reflect back on it, or even as you anticipate it coming up?
Well, first, let me comment on something you just said about like the narration and stuff.
Yes.
The narration by far is the most critical aspect of the story.
Yeah. You're right. We do agonize on it.
Yeah. You're one of them.
We nitpick it.
Wordsmith it.
Yep.
Make sure it's biblically accurate.
Yep.
You don't water it down, but what would an unbeliever, would they understand repentance?
Yes.
Things like that.
You have to think about the recipient, right? The audience. Yeah, for sure.
So the word agonize over the narration is not an overstatement.
Yep.
I mean, it really is word for word, wordsmithed.
Yeah.
To make sure it's biblically accurate and it's make sure it's communicated well.
Yes.
Because again, that's all we need is the word, right?
Yes, yep.
So the art and the music are great.
Yep.
They're unique aspects of it.
Yeah.
But without the message, we shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
To answer your question about my favorite, I mentioned one of them, and that is seeing multi-generations interacting, people serving together. It is so great. We have almost 300 people that serve in the story. Some people start serving about 9 months in advance. Our artists, our construction guys, our sewing team, They get involved very early.
Yes.
And they serve, again, all volunteers. And our studio is in the basement of the FMC.
Yeah.
And so they're down there all the time just creating stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably the second aspect that's a favorite to me is creating something from nothing.
Yeah.
I just love doing that. And so we look at...
With crazy materials.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, people should, if you haven't ever been up front after a presentation, you should go up front and see what this stuff is made of. It's like, really? No way.
Yeah.
Because it looks so good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's the creative aspect of the story behind the scenes is something I really, really enjoy. Creating something from nothing.
Yeah.
And that goes into even, when we sit down early on and say, what order do we want to do things? What stories do we want to tell? That's part of the creative process.
Yep.
But then also like you just said, we have to build the art and we have to recreate. So like the Last Supper is probably the most known piece that we do.
Right.
But then you have to look at like, okay, how do we scale this? How big do we make it? What shape do we make it? In Leonardo da Vinci's version, there's like bread on the table. How do we do that?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things. And so we have to get very creative in how we create the art.
To scale with people in it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so there's a lot of science in the art, though.
Yes. Yes.
That struck me a couple of years ago. Like when you were talking to me about how one of the artists has to scale it to fit people in it. I'm like, oh yeah, right. All the measurements, all the proportions.
Yes.
The angles,
all of that.
There's more math too in this.
There is,
which is interesting.
And we make lots of mistakes.
Yeah.
Nobody's a professional that's doing this. And so we will build stuff. In fact, just last night we were building stuff, had some cast come in like, oh, we built that wrong.
Oh,
you have to have enough humility to be able to rip it apart, all the work you just did, and start over.
Yep.
And you're right. We use very unique stuff. We use foam, plywood, chicken wire. With the Last Supper, it's real bread that we coated in lacquer. So it's like 13-year-old bread.
Oh, man. I didn't know that.
So you have to be very creative on how do we build the art and then how is it going to look to the audience? Because we want to do our best to recreate it.
Yep.
And artists, when they built their version of the art, they're not thinking about us recreating it.
Yeah.
So there's even like atomically incorrect things in the art. You're like, well, how are we going to make a person do that?
Yep.
So then we have to take some creative freedom.
Oh, yeah.
And say, okay, that's not going to work. We're going to do it this way instead. Which,
by the way, for all the years of doing the story, no one's ever commented on like, hey, that's not artistically accurate. No one's ever said that. They appreciate the effort and they love the presentation and
Yeah.
Yep.
So the creative side, serving with all these people, being able to stand back and watch them serve. Mm-hmm. And then lastly and this is with all humility, but be able to stand back and watch the audience, maybe hear the gospel for the first time for some, but hear the gospel, see the gospel in a way that they haven't before.
Yep.
And I've been blessed to so many times seeing people react in ways that is from the Lord.
Yep.
If they didn't see a cool production, the Lord's doing something in their heart. Mm-hmm. And perhaps it's seeing the crucifixion scene. Perhaps it's seeing the Last Supper. Perhaps it's seeing the resurrection.
Yep.
And with all the narration and all the music, the Lord does something. And to be able to sit back and watch that is just incredible.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It makes our small efforts just like, thank you, Lord, for giving us the opportunity to play this small role in you saving these people potentially.
Yep.
Or at least them hearing the gospel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it really is. It's so many people, to use an image that comes to mind, rowing in the same direction, but not in the same way. Like there's musicians, there's artists, and some of the artists are never even seen. They're just behind the scenes and they're in the makeup room and the musicians don't care about being seen. They're just over serving. And then the narrators are being seen left and right, but they're working. I mean, that's a lot of work too. And then you're in the back. I mean, you're in the mid back and you're masterminding the whole thing and not seen. And but everybody's rowing the same direction.
Right.
Which is we just want to put the spotlight on Christ. And so I love that everybody's laboring for that. For as complicated as the whole thing is, it is super complex. Your schematics and the stuff you pump out, I'm like, holy moly, how does your mind work like that? It's amazing. So it is complex, but it's really sweet because it's simple too. Mm-hmm. It's just about one thing. It's about one person, the person of Christ. And so I think that's some of what makes it so compelling. You can plug in any number of different ways around volunteering and serving, but it's all about one thing. And so I also appreciate too, because I've been involved with it in different ways, but I've always appreciated the fact that because it's volunteer and because it's filled with people who are from the church, you do have moments where you do have to be creative, even on the fly. Like was it last year, Brent, or 2 years ago when the curtain ripped?
Yeah.
It
stopped working. Yeah.
Nobody noticed. Nobody knew. But you guys were freaking out.
Yes.
I'm like, you gave me a picture of it. I'm like, the curtain just ripped.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, like, you can't have something much bigger than that happen.
Yeah.
But you were creative and boom, found a solution. It worked. Nobody knew. I mean, it was so cool to see, I think, creativity even on the fly. Because, we're working with volunteers and we're working with, folks from the church who are being faithful, but they're not perfect. We're not perfect. And the Lord, then the ministry still goes on. You know what I mean? Yeah. I love that about this too.
Yeah. Those things to me just go back to, it's a huge bummer when things like that happen because to me it's a distraction.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
But the Lord continually reminds me, I've got this.
Yep.
Like now you just need to figure it out. And I knew this was going to happen. So you're going to figure it out.
I'm going to give you a ripped curtain.
That's right.
Go.
Yeah. Or a costume falling off or something mid-show or whatever. But
it's so good.
Yeah.
But from the perspective of like, Lord, we're just trying to please you. Then when those things happen, you're like, okay, Lord, we're just going to have to respond and react and find a solution. And the ministry is going to move forward. So
right.
That to me is, I think, one of my favorite aspects of that, because I've seen it happen year over year where adjustments need to be made and nothing is impacted. The ministry still moves forward. And it just is another reminder of like, we just need the Lord, Mm-hmm. All the planning, yes, we need him. And even during the production and the presentation, we need him. So that's pretty sweet. Well, listen, Brent, catch us up on, I'm assuming that some people don't know about the story who are listening or watching. Okay. And maybe some others have been, but they're rusty or they just can't remember detail. So give me some of the detail about this year. And like, okay, so where do you go for more information? What are the dates of the show? Like, what am I supposed to be thinking about? Do I just come? Who do I bring? Just as we now anticipate this year, tell us more about this year and how we can get involved.
Yeah, so this year the presentations are March 27th through 29th.
Okay.
So Friday, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
So coming up
real soon.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for that reminder. Coming up real soon, and people can get information at the website. Thestory.art is the website, and they can go there. What should people do? For the people that are listening that are believers, they should be prayerfully considering who the Lord would draw them to invite.
Yeah.
And get as many people here. Again, it's not about the numbers of filling up the house. It's none of that. It's about getting people here to hear the gospel. So first and foremost, be prayerfully considering who you can bring.
Yep.
And then also saying, well, I'm going to attend myself. And you can get tickets on the website. We also start selling them on campus in February. So that's a great way to get it as well.
Okay.
And there's some people, and I don't fault them at all, but they say, I'm going to wait to see who will go before I'll buy tickets.
Right.
There's others that I won't mention this person's name, but she buys about 70 tickets a year, and she always gives them all away.
Yeah, man.
So it's just incredible.
Yeah.
She's constantly talking to people about the gospel, about singing it in this unique way.
Yeah.
And they come, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's so good.
So you can get tickets to the website, get tickets on campus on Sundays, Wednesday nights.
Okay. Thestory.art.
Thestory.art. Yeah. Thestoryandart.com also works, but thestory.art.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's the best way.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited about it. I mean, it's coming up. So be thinking, if you're going to be attending, be thinking about getting tickets, number one, for yourself, and then start asking right away who you can invite and get those tickets for them too. And if you're not a Christian and you're listening or maybe tuning in, that's great, man. We would love to see you attend and love to meet you. It's always fun to meet people who come through for the first time. And so, Brent, thanks for sharing all that. Really appreciate people having the opportunity to get to know you and the ways that you serve the Lord here. It's a blessing to serve alongside of you. And then to hear about this particular opportunity coming up right away in your ministry with the story. So thanks for all the work the work you're already doing, but man, you're going to really be doing a lot of work here the next, several weeks as we get this going and off the ground. So thanks so much for all that. So
it's a blessing.
Tune in next time to our next episode of AfterWord, a podcast with extended conversations about topics that matter in life and ministry. Brent, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.